Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare His divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ji Jai. Jai Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivraj Thakur Vishnu Jivan Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Jai. Ananda Gopalai Vishnu Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ji Jai. Prem se go Shri Chaitanya Prabhu Jai. Shri Advaita Shri Sadguru Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopal Shamkunda Radhakunda Jivodan Ji Jai. Vrindavan Ji Jai. Naminam Ji Jai. Vrindavan Ji Jai. Bhakti Jai. Tulasi Devi Jai. Javanai Ji Jai. Javanai Ji Jai. Sarveda Uttara Ji Jai. All verses of the Lord's all verses of the all verses of Shri Guru Gauranga. Namaste,
So I'd like to chant one bhajan before we begin. Okay. Would you be able to also put the words up there, Prabhu? So this is a song from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's officially called Nagar Kirtan. So the word Nagar means village. So this is a glorification. Kirtan means glorification of Krishna. So this was specifically envisioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur to be sung in the village, I mean to the common people in the town. At that time, I heard it from a trusted source that His Divine Grace Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, means Srila Prabhupada's guru, he liked this song so much that he printed copies on paper and he handed them out and induced people to chant this with him in the streets. And it's very simple Bengali, so at the time, with the Bengalis, then it was very easy for them to pick up the words, and it has clever rhyming also. So, but the beauty of this is that Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he put it together in this songbook called Gitavali. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he completely conversant with the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. So even if the language is very simple, which you'll see it is, only a few words, it's very deep. And Srila Prabhupada has described that these songs of the Acharyas, they have the ability to strike like a thunderbolt in the heart. And attachment, even for the tune of one of these songs, if it gets stuck in your head, it means you're on your way. Because these songs are not ordinarily composed. These are composed by great acharyas who are completely obsessed with Lord Krishna's service. So, first step is, there's this refrain, Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re shobhai. So in Bengali, the S is pronounced with a kind of an SH sound. I haven't super studied it, but you'll notice some songs are in Bengali and some are written in Sanskrit. And Bengali and Sanskrit are not pronounced the same. So that's why sometimes you see that. So this S without the dash, like that. Anyway, we don't have to get into that, but I just wanted to mention, basically we'll sing some of the lines and then we'll go back to the refrain again and again. So now we'll read the translation just so we know exactly what we're saying, and then we'll say it. Okay? So devotees can read it real quick.
Hare Krishna. Chant, chant Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. When Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda came dancing through Nadia, they gave these teachings. Chant, chant Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. You are caught up in a whirlpool of senseless action and are sinking lower and lower. Chant, chant Radha Krishna. Everyone chant.
If you just understand that the spirit soul is the eternal servant of Krishna, you will never have any more sorrows. Chant Hare Krishna, and your eyes will fill with tears, and your body will feel transcendental shivering. Chant, chant Radha Krishna, everyone chant.
Simply chant Radha Krishna and join with us. Those are the only alms we beg. Chant, chant Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. All dangers will be gone when that name is chanted, says Bhaktivinoda Thakura. Chant, chant Radha Krishna, everyone chant.
So this is the. So we'll sing the song, then we'll hear the purport from Srila Prabhupada, and then we'll do our Gita class. Here it goes. Anyone have kartals? Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Radha Krishna bol. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Shiksha diya, shabna diya, pirche neche goranitai. Right over here. Shiksha diya, shabna diya, you both. Then goranitai. E shiksha diya, shabna diya, pirche neche goranitai. Shiksha diya. Okay, here's another thing. I have the mic, so it's easy for me to sing over the instruments. But for you, it's not. So the main thing is the song. That's always the main thing, the mantra. So play those instruments as soft as you can so that you can hear the mantra. Okay? Shiksha diya, shabna diya, pirche neche, goranitai. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Miche mayar boshe, jacho beshe, kacho habudu bubai. Miche mayar boshe, jacho beshe, kacho habudu bubai. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Jiv Krishna das e bishwas kole to ardu konai. Jiv Krishna das. Jiv Krishna das e bishwas korle toar tu konai. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobai. Krishna bolbe jabe pulu kahabe jorbe anki bole tai. কৃষ্ণ বলবে যাবে পুলক হবে ঝরবে আনকি বলে তাই রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলবো বলো রে সবাই রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো রে সবাই রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এ মাত্র পিকা চায় রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এ মাত্র বিকা চায় রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো রে সবাই রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো রে সবাই জয় সকল বিপদ ভক্তি বিনোদ বলে যখন ও নাম গায় জয় সকল বিপদ ভক্তি বিনোদ বলে যখন ও নাম গায় রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো রে সবাই রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো রে সবাই Bhakti Vinod Thakur ki jai. So you can see, you may be able to tell some of the words which she said from the meaning. So it's very simple. So like, we'll hear Prabhupada's purport now. So it's kind of long, but let's hear it. Radha Krishna Bolo 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 Re Shobhai. This is a song sung by Thakur Bhaktivinod. It is said that Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda, they are walking through the streets of Nadia town, chanting this instruction, addressing everyone. They say, "You all people, please chant Radha Krishna or Hare Krishna. Radha Krishna Bolo 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 Re Shobhai." Every one of you simply chant Radha Krishna or Hare Krishna. This is the instruction. Eshika Diya, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, both together, while walking and dancing through the street, he was instructing that all of you simply say Radha Krishna. Eshika Diya, Shabna Diya, Pirche, Abai, Gornitai, Pirche. Pirche means walking. All over the town, Nadia. And they were teaching this. Eshika Diya, Shabna Diya, Pirche, Abai, Gornitai. Then he says, Keno. So this is something that the translator didn't know what it meant exactly. Mayar Boshe Jacho Beshe. Why are you being washed away on the waves of this Maya, material nescience? Kacho Habu Dubu Bai. All day and night you are merged into full of anxieties. Simply, just like a man when he is put into the water, sometimes drowning, sometimes coming up, but he is struggling very hard. Similarly, in the ocean of Maya, why you are so much struggling? sometimes being drowned, sometimes coming up, sometimes feeling happiness, sometimes no happiness. Actually, there is no happiness. In this water, if you are put into the water, and if you are sometimes drowned and sometimes come out, that does not mean happiness. To come out for the temporary time, for the time being, and again being drowned up, that is not happiness. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is instructing that why you are troubling so much, Maya Boshe, under the spell of Maya, then what is to be done? He says that Jeev Krishna Das e Bishwas. Simply just believe it, that you are servant of God, you are servant of Krishna. Jeev Krishna Das e Bishwas, Korle Toar Duko Nai. As soon as you come to this point, that you are servant of God or servant of Krishna, immediately all your troubles become ceased. There is no more trouble. So this instruction is given by Lord Chaitanya walking all over the streets. Jeev Krishna Das e Bishwas, Korle Toar Duko Nai. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives his own personal experience. He says, Jai Sakal Vipod. I become released from all kinds of dangers. Gai Bhaktivinod. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he is Acharya, he is experienced. He says that whenever I chant Radha Krishna or Hare Krishna, I become freed from all kinds of dangers. Jai Sakal Vipod. Jakon Ami Onam Gai. Whenever I chant this holy name, Hare Krishna or Radha Krishna, immediately all my dangers are over. Radha Krishna Bolo Sange Chalo. So Lord Chaitanya therefore says that I am walking on the street and begging from you. What is that begging? That you simply chant. This is my request. Begging. Radha Krishna Bolo Sange Chalo. And just follow me. Radha Krishna Bolo Sange Chalo E Matra Bika Chai. Biksha Chai. I am simply asking you for this contribution, that you chant Hare Krishna and follow me, that your struggle for existence in this material ocean will cease. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thank you very much. So, now we'll chant the introduction prayers to Bhagavad Gita as it is. Let's see here it goes. Okay. In unison. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Ladita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavadebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we were doing some classes in a different style. So previously, the last on the board says 8:19. So let's look at that verse and let's see about that. Okay. Hare Krishna. Chapter 8, text 19. Did we do it already? We left off there. So let's do chapter 8, text number 20. Right? You remember chanting that one, Prabhu? You remember that one? Number 19. We went up to 18. Great. So now we do 19. Okay. Thank you, Prabhus. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, so this is Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 19. Let's chant it in unison. Bhuttagrama sa evayam bhutva praliyate ratyagame vashapartha pravatyahar agame. Translation together. Again and again the day comes, and this host of beings is active, and again the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. Text 20. Parastasmatu bhavonyo vyakto vyaktat sanatana yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyatsu navinashyati. Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Text 21. Avyakto kshara ityuktas tam ahu paramam gatim yam prapya na nivartante tadama paramam mama. That supreme abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my supreme abode. Text 22. Purusha sa parapartha bhaktya labhyastvananjaya yasyanta stani bhutani yena sarvam idam tatam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading, and everything is situated within him. Text 23. Yatra kale tvanavritim avritim chaiva yogena prayata yanti tam kalam vakshyami bharatarshava. O best of the Bharatas, I shall now explain to you the different times at which, passing away from this world, one does or does not come back. Text 24. Agnir Jyotiraha Shukla Shanmasa Uttarayanam Tatra Prayata Gachanti Brahma Brahma Vidojanaha. Those who know the Supreme Brahman pass away from the world during the influence of the fiery God in the light, at an auspicious moment during the fortnight of the moon and the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. Text 25. Dumo ratristata Krishna Shanmasa Dakshinayanam Tatra Chandra Masang Jyotir Yogi Prapya Nivartate. The mystic who passes away from this world during the smoke, the night, the moonlight fortnight, or in the 6 months when the sun passes to the south, or who reaches the moon planet, again comes back. Text 26. Shukla Krishne Gati Hete Jagata Shashvate Mate Ekaya Yatyana Vritim Anyaya Vartate Puna. According to the Vedas, there are 2 ways of passing from this world, one in light and one in darkness. When one passes in light, he does not come back, but when one passes in darkness, he returns. Text 27. Naite sriti parthajanan yogi muyate kaschana tasmat sarveshu kaleshu yoga yukto bhavarjuna. The devotees who know these 2 paths, O Arjuna, are never bewildered. Therefore, be always fixed in devotion. Text 28. This is a different melody. Vedeshu yagyeshu tapashu chaiva daneshu yat punya palam pratishtam ayeti tat sarvamidam viditva yogi param stanam upaiti chadyam. A person who accepts the path of devotional service is not bereft of the results derived from studying the Vedas, performing austere sacrifices, giving charity, or pursuing philosophical and fruitive activities. At the end, he reaches the supreme abode. End of the chapter. So that was text number 28. So we did 19. One more. That means not 10 or 11. Great. So let us do chapter 9, text 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Idam te Tute guyatamam pravakshyam yanusuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yajgatva mokshase shubhat. The Supreme Lord said, My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most secret wisdom, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence. Thank you for chanting. So now we'll go to text 8, chapter 8, text number 19. And we'll start studying the verses. Text number 8, chapter 8, text 19. Again and again the day comes, and this host of beings is active, and again the night falls, O Partha, and they are helplessly dissolved. Would you like to read, anybody? Let's go to the next text.
Text 20. Yet there is another nature, which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Purport. Krishna's superior spiritual energy is transcendental and eternal. It is beyond all the changes of material nature, which is manifest and annihilated during the days and nights of Brahma. Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature are explained in the 7th chapter.
Yes. So, we've been hearing from the Bhagavatam about the divisions of nature that Lord Brahma is responsible for. So many aspects of the creation after he receives instructions from Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. So this abode is the superior spiritual energy. So in Bhagavad Gita, there's only a few hints of that supreme abode, Goloka, Vrindavan, or Vaikuntha. But it is there, and that is further described in Srimad Bhagavatam. So we hear in the mornings exactly what it's like there. There is servants of Krishna or Vishnu who have 4 arms and look like Vishnu, and they have consorts or wives with them, and they fly around on airplanes made of jewels, and there's amazing fragrances, but none of it's for sense gratification. It's all for service. So there's no way any philosopher can know that without having heard it. You can't know that without having heard it. That's called descending knowledge. That's the principle of the Vedas. Prabhupada gives a very specific example about this topic in the beginning of the Ishopanishad. And he makes an amazing lecture where he speaks about what are the Vedas. And he speaks about how this body of knowledge is the only way to get authorized information about the world beyond the senses. So Veda means knowledge, and any book of knowledge can be called Veda, right? But that Veda means knowledge, means that it's eternal actually. Veda knowledge is eternal. It existed along with Lord Krishna's will, his desire, right? Knowledge of reality. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, that he is the source of the Vedas, he is to be known by the Vedas, and he is also, he's the source of the Vedas, the compiler of the Vedas, and to be known by the Vedas. He's the essence of the Vedas, yes. So this is chapter 15, text 15. And so the point I'm trying to make is that Prabhupada, in this beginning of the Ishopanishad, there's a lecture from Prabhupada, and he describes how if you want knowledge, right, about, he mentions at that time there was such a thing as like a TV guide, which you may remember. They were interesting books that showed what programming was going to be on which channels at which times. I always like to look at them because there's so many stacked bars, and I just thought it was geometrically very interesting. But basically, this was a tool which you could see which program was going to be there. If you are a television watcher without the program guide, there'll be no way for you to understand what will be playing. So you'll miss your shows. So Prabhupada gave that example. He was interested to meet the people where they were at. So he gave that example. And he also gives another example that the mother can be asked who is the father. So His Holiness Trivikram Maharaj often mentioned that example. And it means that if you are a young chap and you, by circumstance, you don't know your father, right? So you were placed into the womb of the mother by a certain individual, right, who is known to be the father, and that activity occurred, so the mother was there. So if you want to know who the father is, then she's the best authority to ask. If you go and ask every man that you meet, if you are my father, you'll have to ask 8 point something billion. So comparatively, there's no proper way to get knowledge like that. And this is the rascaldom of the so-called scientific communities. That so-called scientific communities are claiming to have information about something that happened when they weren't there to observe it. And they have the audacity to claim that persons who are interested in the spiritual science are simply sentimentalists. But we have practical experience of Krishna. Why are we here today? Because we feel Krishna. We feel his affection and his reciprocation and his hand in our life. You know, we have scientific realization to some extent. And because of that, our desire to serve Krishna is also that much developed. Our faith is that much developed. So desire to serve Krishna is a function of the faith. If our faith is weak, our desire to serve will be weak. If our faith is very strong, our desire to serve will be unbreakable. So the Vedas are the way to get information about that person whom we want to serve and how to get to his abode, that place which is not simply going to go dust to dust like everything else that exists. Right? So we're very fortunate that the spiritual scientists, right, like the acharyas, they don't speculate on something that happened before they were there. Rather, they hear what happened from the Vedas. So that's the idea, is that when one comes to devotional service, he has to ardently, Prabhupada in one lecture, he says we should make a vow that we don't speculate anymore. And the idea is that we're simply interested to find the truth from the person who knows it. And that's exactly what Krishna says to do in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He says, approach that person who knows. Can I ask a question, Bhakta Koti?
I just wanted to there's an example given where we don't have kangaroos in America. So if we want to know that there is kangaroos, we have to take it from a verified source, and we have to, it's the same kind of thing. And there's one other thing, but I forgot. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yes. Another example Prabhupada gives on that same vein is he told his disciples when he was in New York City, he had one of his disciples, Mukunda, he decided to go to the West Coast. So Prabhupada at that time had never been to the West Coast. And then they decided that they were going to go to San Francisco. And Prabhupada made an example out of it. And he said, they are telling me that San Francisco is very nice, but I've never been there. Right? So I have to hear from you about what is there. Then I developed the desire. I also want to go there. So this is why it's so valuable. If we hear about the spiritual world, it's free from envy, free from fear, right? It is not annihilated. It will remain as it is eternally. And Lord Krishna resides there personally, and he associates with all of his friends and family and servants. When we hear about that place, then we develop the desire to go there. Would you like to add something? Yes, Bhaktajit?
Hare Krishna. So, just to add a point to what you mentioned, Prabhu, hearing is the process, and therefore there are different ways how we can gain knowledge. Knowledge can be gained through Anuman Praman, Pratyaksha Praman, and Shabda Praman. And that is where Shabda Praman, Shabda means hearing. When we hear from the right authority, it sinks into our heart and also creates an impact. Therefore, out of the three ways of gaining knowledge, the Shabda, Anumana, and Pratyaksha, Shabda always has a greater relevance. And that's what hearing from authority, so hearing from the right source or the parampara is all about. Hare
Very
Krishna.
nice. Thank you.
That's what I forgot. Prabhupada says that a devotee, that's his most important sense is his ears and his hearing. But
Right. Yes. And Bhakti, he just added there that there's Shruti, which is the original Veda, four Vedas. Then there's Smriti, which is those literatures which were composed on the basis of the Shruti. Meaning the Smriti is that which was remembered by the purified souls who heard the Shruti. So this Bhagavad Gita is actually called Smriti. That's why there's some groups, they, you could say that they refuse to give importance to the Smriti. And they decide only to accept the Shruti. But personalities like Vyasadeva, who wrote the Shruti, he also wrote the Smriti, Bhagavad Gita, Mahabharata. So we should also accept that. If he's purified enough to compile the original Vedas without adulteration, then he can, whatever he speaks is as good as the Vedas. Right? Okay, so let's continue here to the next text. Okay. Oh, that's it. I think we're done with class then. We can read this translation and then we can break.
Hare Krishna. Text 21, translation. The Supreme Abode is called unmanifested and infallible, and it is the supreme destination. When one goes there, he never comes back. That is my Supreme Abode.
We'll hear the purport.
Yeah, sure. The supreme abode of the personality of Godhead Krishna is described in the Brahma Samhita as Chintamani Dhama, a place where all desires are fulfilled. The supreme Lord abode of Lord Krishna, known as Golok Vrindavana, is full of palaces made of touchstone. There are also trees which are called desire trees that supply any type of eatable upon demand, and there are cows known as Surabhi cows which supply a limitless supply of milk. In this abode, the Lord is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune, Lakshmis, and he is called Govinda, the primal Lord and cause of all causes. The Lord is accustomed to blow his flute, Venum Kwanantam. His transcendental form is the most attractive in all the worlds. His eyes are like the lotus petals and the color of his body like clouds. He is so attractive that his beauty excels that of thousands of cupids. He wears saffron cloth, a garland around his neck, and a peacock feather in his hair. In the Gita, Lord Krishna gives only a small hint of his personal abode, Goloka Vrindavana, which is the supermost planet in the spiritual kingdom. A vivid description is given in the Brahma Samhita. Vedic literature states that there is nothing superior to the abode of Supreme God, and that abode is the ultimate destination. When one attains to this, he never returns to the material world. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non different. Krishna's supreme abode and Krishna himself are non different, being of the same quality. On this earth, Vrindavana, 90 miles southeast of Delhi, is a replica of that supreme Goloka Vrindavan located in the spiritual sky. When Krishna descended on this planet, he sported on that particular tract of land known as Vrindavana in the district of Mathura, India.
Jai. So, devotees, thank you for being here. This is the team. You know, we have a whole world to share this knowledge with. And the deeper that we go into our practice of japa, right? If we take shelter of the holy name, if we take shelter of Srila Prabhupada's books, then he can empower us to spread this knowledge to the world. And people are suffering like anything. They really are. And we have been given the opportunity to lend a helping hand. So thank you for being part of this mission. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees.